This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
I'm sorry for those that don't have people to speak for them. And it's ridiculous.
Families are taking steps to protect their loved ones in nursing homes. Why new numbers are raising concerns.
Many people are still having difficulty with their unemployment benefits, and now some of those people are being called back to work. What you need to know to avoid being accused of unemployment fraud.
This is part of a closure that they need to see to be done in honor of their children.
Mothers coming together to push for sidewalks after 3 teens were hit and killed over the weekend. What the city of Indianapolis is now saying about the community's request. Good evening to you here at 6 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins, coming to you tonight from my home.
And I'm Amanda Starantino at the WRTV studios as we continue to practice social distancing to help stop the spread of COVID-19. And first at 6, it's another unseasonably warm evening in central Indiana. Kayakers and paddleboarders hopped into Eagle Creek Reservoir to keep cool. But like yesterday, storms and showers are impacting some while other areas remain dry. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory. Hey, Kevin.
Amanda, just like the last 3 or 4 days, we've had these pop-up thunderstorms, and when it rains, it pours. 86, the magic number in Indianapolis today, felt a couple degrees warmer than that because of the humidity, which is also the fuel for these thunderstorms. They're isolated, not widespread, but I do think they'll have a chance to linger beyond the sunset, which is at 9:03, so we may have some isolated thunderstorms through the night. Not much happening, but again, let's show you where the rain's a little bit heavier. Right along I-65, south of Columbus, north of Seymour. We'll slide to western Indiana. This is north of Terre Haute and in the Vermilion and Park County line. Universal, Fairview, Mecca, Montezuma, you may get a heavy downpour, but again, not a lot of lightning associated with that. The humidity remains a story, but not for much longer. When the humidity will drop out, temperatures change, and we break the daily pattern of rain. That's coming up.
We'll see you soon, Kevin. Thank you. COVID-19 cases and deaths in Indiana continue to rise. Today, the State Department of Health reports 18 new deaths from the coronavirus, bringing the total to 1,850 Hoosiers who have died from COVID-19. The state also confirms 373 new cases of the virus. That's up from yesterday. 32,078 people in Indiana have been diagnosed with coronavirus since the pandemic started, and more than 230,700 people have been tested for COVID-19. Just under 14% of them have tested positive for the virus. The Department of Health also says about 41% of the state's intensive care unit beds are available. COVID-19 patients are using about 14% of those ICU beds. Non-COVID-19 patients are using 45% of the beds. 82% of the state's ventilators are also available.
And the number of people who have died from COVID-19 in Indiana nursing homes has more than doubled in the past 3 weeks. 876 people have died in long-term facilities from the virus. That is nearly half of all COVID-19 deaths in Indiana. 13 new facilities have reported at least one death, according to data released this week from the State Department of Health. And Call 6 Investigates' Kara Kenny found some families are taking big steps to protect their loved ones, and tonight she is digging in to find out what those numbers mean.
We first told you about problems surrounding Greenwood Meadows back in early April, and new numbers now show it's one of the hardest hit facilities in central Indiana. Dozens of people have died here from COVID-19. Gloria Benefield's mom, Violet, developed COVID-19 while living at Greenwood Meadows. This is a picture of Violet Benefield on April 5th before she got sick. This is her on May 20th. Her daughter says Violet is now negative, but she's still not feeling well.
She has a sore throat now and ear infection, and they haven't addressed that.
Gloria plans to remove her mom from Greenwood Meadows and move Violet in with her. 32 people have died at the facility, one of the highest death tolls at a long-term care facility in central Indiana.
I've already cleared out a bedroom for her to go into. We've already bought her a bed and everything else. But like I said, she doesn't get the care that is supposed to be given
They're operated by American Senior Communities, the state's largest nursing home provider, which started posting numbers this month on each facility's website about cases and deaths. Greenwood Meadows also posted this video to YouTube showing various staff members emphasizing the facility has been communicating daily with residents and their families.
I believe this daily communication has not only created new relationships, but has helped our families have a better peace of mind at home, knowing their loved one is being continuously cared for.
American Senior Communities and its partner Health and Hospital say deaths are higher in their facilities for several reasons, including they're testing more residents than other operators, which means more deaths are identified as COVID-19 related. They operate a large number of nursing homes in urban areas where the virus is most concentrated, and they care for a large number of Alzheimer's and dementia residents who are difficult to keep separate and are especially vulnerable to COVID-19. At least 32 people have died at another Johnson County facility, Greenwood Healthcare Center. Their operator, Communicare, says they have higher numbers in part because they have a ventilator unit, which brings in patients with respiratory problems.
Well, I think when you just focus on the numbers, you really miss the big picture. It's true that the Greenwood facility has had those numbers of fatalities, and our thinking is that the vent unit and certainly the age and underlying health condition of the population there plays a role in it.
Communicare emphasizes most patients are recovering.
We had a single day high earlier in May of 115 residents who had been COVID positive. Many of them, a great many of them, had no symptoms whatsoever. But now we're down to about 25 residents in our isolation unit.
Two of the highest death tolls at long-term care facilities are in Johnson County. The health department tells us the two facilities are large and treat the sickest elderly patients in Johnson County. Many of these patients are in hospice and have chosen to live their last days in these facilities. For families like the Benefields, they're making the difficult decision to get their loved one out. Reporting in Johnson County, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
Health and Hospitals Board has requested an independent review which will provide recommendations to address residents' needs. You can read their entire statement in this story on the RTV6 app and at theindychannel.com. And the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is now home to a COVID-19 testing site. The site is run by the Marion County Health Department. Those who are 65 and older, immunocompromised, or an essential worker are encouraged to get tested. The county also has a new testing site up at Warren Central High School. Those two new locations replace the previous ones at the State Fairgrounds and Eastern Star Church. Testing is free, but it is by appointment only. You can register online or by calling the health department.
Our Rebound Indiana initiative is tackling the issues that will help you make it through the pandemic. Our team continues to focus on those having difficulty with their unemployment benefits. At the same time, Hoosiers are being called back to work. This week, RTV6's Rafael Sanchez explores what you need to know to avoid being accused of unemployment fraud. This is about you managing unemployment.
But if I'm offered my job back, can I refuse to return and just continue to receive unemployment benefits?
Well, so I'd say, the guidance from the federal government has been clear that this is and again, this is a federal program being administered by the state, and that is that individuals are expected to return to work once work becomes available. Now, of course, because it's unemployment insurance, nothing's quite that cut and dry. I mean, what seems to be really clear, Rafael, is that sort of just individualized fear. I'm concerned about going back to work probably isn't going to be enough, and you will jeopardize your benefits. Certainly the person who says, hey, look, I'd rather just draw unemployment benefits than work, that's not going to be enough. If you refuse work under those circumstances, you'll be denied benefits. But there certainly is sort of the other end of the spectrum, and that still is the case, that if individuals have been directed to quarantine, potentially if they're in a high-risk group, that it becomes a little bit more questionable for us to look at, whether or not you've refused suitable work at that point under those circumstances. And so I would say, on that end, you likely are eligible. And then, of course, there's this whole world in between of, questions about, what if I don't think that my workplace is taking this seriously enough, and those sorts of associated questions. And those are going to be harder for us to deal with in the coming weeks.
Working for you, Rafael Sanchez, RTV6.
And tomorrow we will look at what will trigger an appeal for benefits as we continue to look at managing unemployment.
Hiring Hoosiers is our commitment to connect you to job opportunities, especially now that COVID-19 has left so many people without work.
And let's get right to the Hiring Hoosiers job feed for you tonight. Ivy Tech Community College, a Hiring Hoosiers partner, just posted an opening for Assistant Director of Human Resources. You can learn more about the position by going to ivytech.edu/jobs.
Excel Home Health Care in Lebanon is looking for both full-time and part-time nurses to provide care in patients' homes. Call 765-482-6680 for more information. We also have a link to apply on the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page.
Integrity Rotational Molding in Plainfield has a full-time production openings. On-the-job training is available. Again, we have much more for you at the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page on that.
And Hiring Hoosiers partner Spherion has multiple open positions. They are looking for forklift operators, material handlers, packaging associates, and sanitation workers in the Lebanon area.
You can find new jobs posted every day on the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. Plus, we have even more job openings right now on the job board at hiringhoosiers.com. Community leaders, a minister, and the mothers of the teenagers hit and killed over the weekend are all pushing for one thing, and that is getting sidewalks where that tragedy took place at West Kessler Boulevard and North Drive on the northwest side. Troy Washington is working for you to explain what the city is saying about the community's cry for sidewalks in that area.
There's a push brewing to get the city to take a closer look at putting sidewalks here at 38th and Kessler.
I rode up and down Kessler for years, and there's no sidewalks, there's no street lights.
Danita Royal not only empathizes with the mothers of the victims killed here last weekend, she can relate. 7 years ago, she lost her son to gun violence.
When you lose a child, it's a pain that you never forget.
Royal started Mothers Against Violence Healing Ministry after tragedy shook up her world. And now she's standing with these moms as they search for healing. Their solution, bring in sidewalks and make this stretch of the road safer.
Of course I want closure, and if it means for them to get these sidewalks out here on Kessler, and better street lights.
15-year-old Kiara Brown, 13-year-old Tajiana Velez, and 14-year-old David Evans were walking here at 38th and Kessler when cars collided, lost control, and hit them. All three teenagers were killed.
This is part of a closure that they need to see to be done in honor of their children.
RTV6 reached out to Indianapolis Public Works to find out if that is a possibility. They tell us there is no project to add sidewalks included in the four-year capital that was voted on and approved in 2019, well before this tragedy. But they are willing to take another look at the recommendation. Working for you on the northwest side, Troy Washington, RTV6.
The city says there is a prioritization process that must be considered. Since 2008, the Department of Public Works has received 4 requests for sidewalks in the area where that tragedy happened. We're also checking in with police about the investigation, and we'll bring you any updates for you on the RTV6 app and at the IndyChannel.com as we learn them.
Early voting for the June 2nd primary election got underway today, and it's a much different experience than what you are used to. One of 3 early voting sites in Marion County, Beech Grove High School, featured poll workers wearing face shields. On top of that, early voting sites are giving voters coverings for their fingers so they won't actually touch the screen when they are casting their ballot. Voting booths are also spread apart. In addition to Beech Grove High School, early voting is also happening at Broad Ripple High School in the City County building in Marion County. Again, early voting is happening now through June 1st. If you applied for and received an absentee ballot, the county clerk must receive your completed ballot by noon on June 2nd. And again, the primary election is June 2nd. A key race in northern Marion County and Carmel is the 5th District congressional race. There are 20 candidates vying for the seat of Republican Susan Brooks, who is not running for re-election. With so many people running, we have compiled profiles of all the candidates who responded to us. For information on the homepage at theindychannel.com. That way you can learn about each candidate before you cast your ballot.
From grape soda to bun bars to chocolate-covered almonds, this place has it all. But the ice cream is the star of the show at the Square Scoop. Coming up, we'll show you how some unique flavor combos are mixing up the menu in Fountain Square.
Temperatures, they're set to tumble, not immediately, but here's the range from our warmest day in the 7-day forecast to the coolest. I'll match these with a day of the week when we come back.
Is responsible for the content of this advertising.
And welcome back to the news at 6. We'll get to our current situation in a second, but I thought we'd take the big view and talk about a change that will come our way. After a daily stretch of showers, some isolated thunderstorms, and humid conditions, temperatures will fall below average. As we move to the weekend, it will actually happen a little before that. As our rain chances come up, the temperatures will come down. But look at your weekend. That comes with sunshine. Temperatures in the lower 70s both Saturday and Sunday afternoon. As far as morning low temperatures, as cool as 51 Sunday and Monday. That will be a refreshing change from the humidity we've had, an opportunity to open up the windows and let some fresh air in the house. Okay, this weekend the humidity will be at the other end of the scale. We're kind of at the top portion now, but the dew point, which is a measure of the humidity in the air, will be much, much lower, and that will lead to a whole different feel. First of all, see where thunderstorms are in relation to where you live. We got one little speck there north of Marion, another in the southeast corner of Miami County. Let's go down to Bartholomew County, just to the west of I-65 and west of Columbus now. That area of rain will move toward Princess Lakes and to the northwest. Mooresville, nice little downpour. That'll cross I-70, maybe reach Plainfield around 267 and US 40. Temperatures, they're in the 80s in many spots. If you don't have rain, it's warmer. If you have rain nearby, Martinsville, for example, Greencastle, Crawfordsville, Lafayette, Terre Haute, all in the 70s compared to spots that are into the upper 80s. Next 3 days, we slowly work temperatures down, but bring our rain chances up ahead of a cold front, which will deliver the thunderstorms. Tomorrow, the thunderstorms still spotty, but we'll have a chance starting in the morning hours for thunderstorms. Temperatures in the low 80s for a high. There are your isolated thunderstorms in the morning. A few more develop in that 1 to 7 o'clock window, just like we've had the last several days. 7-day forecast, as I showed you right at the beginning, temperatures really cool off, and it will feel so much better. Low to mid 70s for highs, lows in the 50s, and the humidity just pretty much drops out. You combine that with all that weekend sunshine, and I think that will be very enjoyable. Certainly something to look forward to.
You got that right, Kevin. Thank you. So when the weather gets hot, ice cream certainly sounds like a good idea. And on the city's newest dessert spots is located over in Fountain Square.
And they have a menu that features something for everyone and more than just ice cream, but you'll have to wait your turn. Brad Brown explains.
You can find just about anything you're hungry for in the Fountain Square neighborhood. But if it's time for ice cream, it's time to get into the Square Scoop.
It's been different, that's for sure. I mean, once the weather improved, we've had a pretty good crowd. And it certainly hasn't been to the level that it was during the warm weather last year yet. But I think hopefully we're getting there.
The Scoop took over this space last fall. Along with their full selection of ice cream treats, they offer a wide range of old-time candy and sodas.
We've got candy from basically every decade, you know, things that I remember from when I was a kid, you know, things that kids now recognize too.
The Square Scoop's case already includes some unique flavors, but you can also take any of their dozens of soda selections and make a float of your own.
Well, we had somebody do cookies and cream and lemonade, which I thought was very odd. They seem to enjoy it, so that's all good. I think one thing that people really appreciate down here is we offer several vegan options. So instead of just being able to get a sorbet or something like that, those that are lactose intolerant or vegan are able to choose from a few different flavors. So that's always been popular.
The updated social distancing rules mean this little shop can only go one at a time, but customers continue to wait their turn and smiles abound.
I think all in all, people are pretty respectful and they understand that. So it's been good. And, you know, it hasn't really changed our menu that much because most of the items at an ice cream shop are grab and go anyway, really. Early on, there were probably a few weeks where we felt like we were the only place open around. You know, there wasn't much going on. Starting to see a little more activity. Certainly with the cultural trail running right down Virginia Avenue, it really helps with foot traffic on nice days like today.
Square Scoop is offering a take-home float kit. You get a 4-pack of soda and a pint of ice cream, perhaps something like a vanilla cream soda and a pint of coffee toffee. Get creative with your combo. They're located right off the Fountain Square station of the Red Line in case you're riding the bus over. Their hours are Tuesday through Sunday, 2 till 8 p.m., carry out only. And you can visit the Square Scoop website for more information on their menu and their daily flavor options. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
I'm Dave First. Time for another RTV6 Senior Salute, continuing our goal of honoring the graduating spring sport athletes. We head to North Putnam to meet a pair of seniors on the baseball team. Austin Rader is a 4-year varsity player battling through not one, but 2 torn ACLs. Head coach Chris Geeser says he's a great student to boot. Jalen Berry spent 3 years on varsity, known for being a great teammate, keeping the team loose, and, like Austin, a great student. 2 Cougars leaving a legacy of leadership with that program. Good luck after graduation to both. I'm Dave First with another RTV6 Senior Salute. Apply online today.
Today's RTV6 photo of the day comes to us from Susan Savastik in Bloomington.
She sent us this picture of her dog, Kirby, enjoying the spring irises in the yard.
And those are pretty flowers and a very cute pup there, gotta say.
Adorable pup. And Susan says Kirby likes chipmunks too, and that's in reference to a photo of the day from last week where a cat was in a stare down with a chipmunk.
I remember that one. It was a great one. Thanks, Susan, for sending in this picture of your dog taking all the beauty that spring has to offer.
Email us your photo of the day. Send it to news@WRTV.com.
I think the chipmunk blinked first, just so you know. Okay, photo of the day to forecast for tomorrow. Upper 70s with some thunderstorms again. Mark?
All right, thank you, Kevin. And thank you for joining us at 6.